Over the next few moments, I'm going to walk you through a simple exercise to identify what you ideally should focus on doing in your life, at least for the time being and perhaps the near future. The results of this exercise may change over time, so feel free to repeat it at any point in the future. It's pretty quick and simple, and dare I say, kind of fun. It may, I hope it does, reveal to you what you are ideally suited to accomplish based on what you know or what skills you have. So let's get started. First, a thought to reflect on. Emerson said, "Make the most of yourself, for that is all there is of you." Going deeper into that quote as to why the reason that we would want to make most of ourselves is a discussion for another time. But the purpose of this video is to look at the what you are going to make of yourself, as I did. This is a process I've applied. And what I discovered at the end of the exercise, which really only takes a few minutes, was that I already had my answer. I just didn't recognize it for sure. So before we get started, or you could either watch the video and then complete the exercise, or if you wish, now's a good point to stop. Go get yourself either a pen and paper or pencil, or perhaps a spreadsheet. I used a spreadsheet, but if you find that intimidating, feel free to make it as simple as you want. You could even do this as a thought exercise, although I really recommend recording it somewhere so that you can refer to it later. That way you can either update it with new information as you make new discoveries about yourself, or at least use it for a reference to see where you've progressed from. All right, shall we begin? There's only a few steps to the exercise. In the first two steps, you're going to write a list. In the third step, you're going to compare the two lists and make some connections between them. In the final step, you're going to look at the results of the first two steps, or first three steps, and highlight a few of them based on a handful of criteria. Now, this is a very simplified version of it. I'm sure this is the version I used, and I'm sure as time passes, I'll come up with better ways to execute the exercise. But let's get started. You can take your choice of which list you wish to write first. You might already have one of the lists available to you because it's your knowledge, your skills, your abilities, and your interests. Just make a list of the things that you know at least enough about that someone else might benefit from it. Things that you have skill in. Maybe it's woodworking or playing a musical instrument, cooking, programming, investing, abilities. I don't even know where to start with that one. And finally, interests. Don't forget to write down your interests, especially if you're interested in something that you don't feel particularly knowledgeable about or skilled in, but you would like to be. It might be the answer you're looking for. These are things that you already possess or are looking at and wouldn't mind possessing in the terms of factors of you, things in your mind that you could potentially share with someone else. Is your list complete? Good. Let's go on to the second list. And even if it's not, very simply, the second list is just what people want. You see, life isn't about me, or you, or Bob. I know there's no Bob over here, but you'll have to imagine him. Life isn't about us as individuals, it's about our connections with others. In general, sorry, I'm supposed to handle this in another topic. Well, without going too deep into the topic, in general, life is about the connections between us. What does Bob have that you want? Would you be willing to compensate him for his time, his advice? What do you have that I could benefit from? I might be willing to pay you for it. So this second list is going to be what people want. And if this is not something that you've given significant thought to before, you might find it a little difficult. So I'll give you some suggestions to start with. I'll try to give you 5. Let's see. Money. That's probably the number one thing people go looking for help with. Money problems. Maybe it's managing their money. Maybe it's investing. And those could be separate things. But in general, people want money. I would just put down money as a category because what you can provide them from your things is going to be the specifics. Let's see. Money, relationships, whether it's looking for love or just getting along with people. Some of us aren't very good at interpersonal relationships. I don't know. I guess I was something of a nerd growing up, so being sociable, I found it easier to retreat into a book. Oh, let's see. What else do people want? Actually, I have a list. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Should be right. Okay, I thought I had a list. Where's it at? What people want. Maybe I pinned it to the top. Here it is. Yes. Oh, yes, it's quite a list. Okay, here we go. Relief. Ah, that's a good one. Pain. And I don't just mean physical pain. Relief. People want relief from the things that bother them. And yes, technically all of the things that they want to pay you for are probably areas they want. Maybe not all of them, but many of the things people would like to pay for are things they want relief in. But sometimes relief doesn't come in the form of the solution. It comes in simply in a way to reduce the stress of the thing. So stress relief could be a thing. Power. I'm almost certain that you can relate to the feeling of being powerless at some point in your life. If you yourself feel powerless or have desired more power, then that means you went through something that taught you what it feels like to not have enough. Many of us would pay dearly to feel like, or preferably to know for sure, that we have the power to face some hardship, some difficulty, some challenge. Safety, security. People spend a lot of money on security. Why does this matter? Well, whatever you're going to do in life, if it can't pay the bills, you're going to have to do something else to pay the bills, and chances are it's going to be something you don't like, something that drains you, something that maybe even sucks the life out of you. I know what it feels like. I have a blue-collar job doing something I don't hate it, which is why I'm here doing this, hopefully helping you find some answers. So, if you can avoid it, don't do what I've done. All right. Let's see. So we said money, relationships, power. I skipped one. Relief, security. I think we covered 5 items. And there's a lot more. I think I have, 30 items listed down here. There's plenty of things that people would gladly compensate you for. Now, you might say, well, I'm not interested in any of those things. But you're not necessarily going to provide them just what they're asking for. The key is, this is step 3, you're going to provide them a solution to their problem based on your answers, your knowledge. Go through each and This is why I suggested a spreadsheet. The way I did it was I wrote what people want across the top of the sheet. And then down the side of the sheet, I wrote the things I had. My interests, my knowledge, my skills, my abilities. So for step 3, go through each of your knowledge, skills, and abilities and place a check mark where your capability meets their need or could meet their need. Maybe you are a capable musician. Could you help people with money? Well, if they're looking to learn to play the instrument or gain the musical skill that you have, you could teach them. You could teach them, perhaps you could teach them to perform in that way. In that way, you might be able to help them. Or maybe as a musician, you've been successful in getting gigs. And so you could help starting musicians find gigs for themselves and hopefully pay some bills. In that way, you might be able to help them with money. What about security? Well, I don't see much of a connection between music and security, safety. Maybe you do. If you do, place a check mark under that want lined up with your thing, your knowledge, your skill, your ability. Do this for each of your things. That's step 3. Once you've completed this, what you should find is that some of the things that you possess, some of your knowledge, skill, abilities, or interests have a lot more check marks than some of the others. Chances are the ones with the most check marks are the ones that are going to be most profitable for you to pursue. Now, you can make a go of any of this stuff, probably, with enough effort. I'm just helping you see that the things that have the most check marks are the things that have the widest potential audience, the widest potential customer base. But just because something has a wide customer base doesn't mean it's the thing that you should go after. So now that we've completed step 3, let's get on to the last step. In this step, you're going to probably want a highlighter. I suppose you could just circle the knowledge, skill, or ability topic that fits these criteria, but I find a highlighter makes it easier to look at. With this one, you're going to highlight. Let's start with, if you've got several highlighters available, I would say highlight in yellow the topic or the subjects, the knowledge, skill, or ability that you like the most, the ones you enjoy, the ones that when you think about them, they spark your imagination. Maybe they captivate your mind on occasion as it wanders. When your mind wanders, where does it go? That's probably the one you should highlight in yellow. It's the thing you know you're going to enjoy, something you're passionate about. Maybe it's not something you enjoy, you just care intensely about it. Maybe it's a great concern to you. Highlight those things because you'll find that you have a motivation to pursue them, that you'll care about those things more easily than others. And when it comes to, well, business, your objective is to care about the thing for your customer more than they have cared about it so far. Because see, in preparing for it, if you cared about it enough, pursued it hard enough, you'll have prepared better answers than they've been able to find. And in so doing, you'll be providing them with what they're looking for. All right. So you've highlighted the things that you care about or enjoy. Maybe select another color and now highlight, depending upon, and this is entirely opinion-based, highlight the knowledge, skill, or ability that you think has the greatest financial potential. In other words, the one that's going to get you paid the best. Now, there's something to keep in mind here. Just because a knowledge, skill, or ability could solve the most wants does not mean that it's the most profitable. Because there's another great way to make money. I can thank Myron Golden for this insight. Another great way to make money besides serving the most people is to serve the people with the deepest pockets. You only have to provide a service to a few wealthy people and get compensated really well for it to be able to have all of the time and resources you need to serve others, regardless of whether or not they can pay you. Maybe instead of having to look to make money, you'd be free to pursue your passions, whether you turn them into paying work or not. Maybe that's the thing you're looking for, or maybe not. Have you completed step 4? Excellent. If you haven't already, take some time to review your thoughts. Look at the results of the exercise. You're done with it. From here, you should have a pretty easy time figuring out what you want to focus on. Ideally, you're looking for, and it could be more than one. For me, there was 2 things. One of them was what we're doing right now. Not just being a YouTuber either. That's not the extent of it. I'll get into my specific thing that I'm doing right now at another time. But this is part of it. The other one for me is a technology thing. How do these 2 things come together? I don't even know yet. But I know that I need to do them. In fact, I knew that before I got started. It just took completing the exercise for me to understand that all of the other things that I could do were not worth spending the time on to try to turn them into my future. I hope that this exercise is of help to you the way it was to me. I plan in the next video to address the why we are here, just as I've addressed the what. It won't be an exercise video. It'll be a topical discussion. We'll look at some quotes, perhaps some common ideas, dissect them a little bit, and examine the fundamental question of why are we here? Until next time, peace.